Ooh. Hi guys. Hello. So I realized recently, well today, that I also have a MacBook that I haven't used since a very long time ago, because in my profession I usually use my iMac because a MacBook is really not that convenient for design. And so I didn't realize that I can actually do lives both on YouTube and on TikTok in a different room other than my room, other than my desk setup, because I actually have another computer. And so I am currently, oh, what's happening? That's so weird. Oh, this charging cable is so strange. It like charges my phone halfway. Okay. No. Oh, this cable is broken. That's interesting. Uh-huh. I feel like that's gonna murder my battery. Okay. Alrighty. So I have, as usual, I have a charger emergency, because turns out that this charger is broken and it keeps charging, not charging. Who would have thought that I would have a charging emergency, right? Me, out of all people. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a different cable because this is gonna like murder my phone and its battery, and I'll be back in a second. In the meanwhile, Cindy, where are you? Cindy, hey, Gremlin, where'd you go? You were just here. Sin? Cindy? Cindy, treats? Hey, treats? Oh, of course. This is so fun. This is too easy, you know? This dog is going to be hiding somewhere, and I will be calling her name a million times, and she will not move at all, not like at all, until I mention treats. Wait, 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 wait. The precision. Okay. Yeah, so as per usual, well, actually not as per usual, but well, as per usual, yes. YouTube is on. Hi. And today we have a different angle, actually a better angle, because well, I finally figured out that I have a MacBook that I haven't used in a while, and that I can actually go YouTube live on there. So it's an okay angle. Cindy is here. You can see her a little better as per usual on YouTube. So I talked about it briefly earlier. Well, before I say anything, first of all, if you do have YouTube and you have an ability to watch in the background, or if you prefer YouTube, please go over. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. There is a live with a Ukrainian historian that came out today. It's saved. You can rewatch it there. And watch hours on YouTube apparently matter a lot in order for you to be able to change like your handle. Like instead of it being youtube.com/, in order for it to be youtube.com/Yulia, I have to have 1,000 followers and some watch hours. So if you could watch on YouTube as well, or instead, I would highly appreciate it. Now, as far as I saw earlier, it doesn't look like we have a lot of news today from the front lines. Oh, we have 99 updates. And also, I have a very interesting update. So there were 5 keychains that have shipped out to date. And 2 of them I still do not have a tracking number for, because they apparently haven't reached the United States yet. And 3 of them were sent to one person who gracefully let me know that he had received 3 instead of 1 and sent them back. So I'm going to be sending these out on Monday to the 2 of you to whom they were supposed to go to until they accidentally made their way all together to one person. So on Monday, I'm going to be sending out 2 more keychains. Irina, if you missed the one, if you missed the live that was with the Ukrainian historian, it's uploaded to YouTube and it's not going to go anywhere from there. But so these are actually really cool. You know, they are much thicker than what they looked like on. They're much, much thicker than I expected them to be. They're like pretty hefty keychains. I'm part of me is like kind of happy that they accidentally made their way over to a wrong address because I got to hold them and sort of see what they feel like. And it's so cool. I now really want one too. And it's interesting because they all have a serial number. So it says original piece of aircraft skin, and it says number 108, number 216. So they all have serial numbers, which is kind of really, really cool. Really good. Hi, Stephanie. Yeah, and if you want to watch it, it's actually available on YouTube, and it's available on YouTube, and it's it's available on YouTube, and it's available for replay. It's available. It's uploaded there. It's not going to go anywhere, and I am very excited that you guys seem to have liked it. Yes, a lot of Wagner Group was unalived. That is true. Thankfully, because they are just basically for hire murderers. They're not good people. Yeah, I saw that. That happened yesterday, as far as I remember. I think I even read the news about that on yesterday's news stream. Also, hi. That's cool. Thank you so much. There's some of you guys are using 2 devices to do TikTok and YouTube, so I don't feel alone in this because I can see myself on 2 screens. Like trying to drink from a fire hose. Oh, well, yeah, that live was really intense. Oh, привет! Oh my gosh, your Ukrainian is getting so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for that. It's an older shirt. Well, I guess not that old, but it's I've had it for a while. But yeah, so what was I saying? That live with the historian, it was pretty intense, and there was a lot of information that was there. I mean, Crimean history is so rich and so long, and I'm honestly surprised that we were able to fit so much into such a short period of time. After the live today, if I have time and if I have enough in me to do this, I'm going to try and translate most of the notes that I got from Natalia and put them into the live description. Hi, Tammy. I will try to put all of her notes into the live description and try to like separate them onto sections so I can put like little chapters and stuff like that. Yeah, there is a Ukrainian society in New York too. There is a Ukrainian Institute in New York. Do you feel like I have a test on the Scythians though? Yeah, Scythians are a lot. Well, to be fair, like we went through them very, very, very briefly. There is a lot to their history as well. I think it's really cool that we also touched on. Oh my gosh, sorry. Sometimes I just blank out on things for like a minute, and I'm so sorry. It's been a long day, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot, so I'm a little out of it. But I'm really happy that we were able to touch on so many different subjects. And I'm really happy that you guys found out so much about Crimea. I'm also really happy that you liked it. I was so nervous about the outcome of that live, and I was so nervous about how everyone would feel about it, whether it would be good. Mission Impossible. I mean, they're not like, I don't hate them. I don't super like them. I think I've seen some. So it's not Great Tartaria. It's Stavria is what it used to be called, and it was the Great Crimean Khanate. But yeah, so I'm really happy that you liked Natalia. So she's the reason why I love history. Genuinely, she was my history teacher, and I can't stress this enough. She was amazing as a teacher. She was so interesting. She was so engaging. She genuinely like knows her material. She knows how to make material. She knows how to present material in an interesting way. So for the next live, I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to break it down into parts. And we're gonna do little Q&A breaks. So like, let's say this time we went time period, what happened, time period, what happened, time period, what happened. And next time I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like time period Q&A, time period Q&A. So we're gonna break it down a little bit so there's like, so it's more engaging for you guys instead of just like a really instead of just like a really long 1 hour lecture. So hopefully that'll help as well. And then, what was, how does one find the video on YouTube? One goes to my YouTube, and it's going to be there. My YouTube is linked in my TikTok profile, where you have my profile picture. It's underneath it. There is like a little YouTube play button, and if you press it, it's going to take you to my YouTube channel. And it's like the live is called Let's Talk Ukraine, Crimean, the words of a Ukrainian historian. And then we're also going to have a lot more visual clues next time. So we're going to have more pictures, and we're going to have more sort of, this time we didn't figure out how to integrate that because I'm still learning how to use all of the softwares, but I figured out that I can actually put in presentation slides. And so next time that we're going to be talking about certain things, if we can illustrate them, then we're going to be illustrating them with photos and appropriate materials. So I thought that so that would be really cool, because this time we actually had like some things that we wanted to demonstrate visually, but it didn't necessarily work out because we didn't know how to kind of like integrate them. But next time we will, and next time it's going to be even more exciting. So if you guys are interested, please subscribe to YouTube, and it's going to be at least a 5 Saturday in a row event. I think it's going to be Donbass next. Then it's going to be Kiev and Rus, Moscovia, Peter the First, Catherine the First, Peter the First, Catherine the Second. And then it's going to be nationalism, Bandera, and Soviet, like Bolsheviks and Soviet Union and stuff like that. And then it's going to be the 5th one. We are going to try and see what you guys seem to be most interested in, and we're going to tailor it to you. So that's that. So hopefully that will work. Okay, are we ready for the news reading tonight? Also, I know Mila is live right now, right, still, so I know that this is going to be a little slow today. Catherine II was the Empress of Russia who rewrote the history and basically appropriated more and more Ukrainian history. And Catherine II also exterminated Cossacks. She was awful. Hi, James. Oh my gosh, I got something to show you. And Cindy had already even had one, but it does say in the instruction that if your dog is over 26 pounds, and our lady over here is whole 32, you can give her 2 of these. So I'm going to give her another one, because Cindy is one of those dogs that can take vitamins without having to I don't have to give them to her with food, basically, because Cindy will eat anything that I put in her mouth. Cindy, hey, child, hello, hello, wait. Okay. See, easy peasy. The child eats vitamins like they're candy. Cindy has no problems with eating anything medication related. Actually, most dogs, I'm sure that if you have a dog, when you need to give them flea and tick prevention, do you put that in their food? Do you have to bury it in treats? Do you have to like shove it somewhere? Because I know that most people do. I just give it to Cindy and she just eats it. Yeah, no, she just eats it. She has no problem. She has no issue. Everything is food to her. I gave her a cardboard piece and told her it's a treat, she would have eaten it too. See? Yeah, see? Most people have to put it in food or something like that. See, Cindy has no issues eating. Eating is not one of our problems. A hostage tape? Why? Why is it a hostage tape? Do a lot of Ukrainians know about their history like you? Do you guys learn it in school? Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much. I love those paper cranes. So I did have a very history intensive school, and my teacher was amazing. And you guys met her today, and that live is on YouTube. So I mean, most of us do know our history pretty well, especially the history of oppression. I wouldn't say that everybody knows like in-depth history, but everybody knows like a decent chunk of it because we do take it in school, and we do take it, I want to say since fourth grade or since third grade to senior year. In my school, we had, I believe, 6 hours of history a week, and Ukrainian history is really long. And we took world history, and we took world history very much in depth as well. So I don't want to say that every single person knows history super well, but I definitely would say that I know quite a lot, thanks to the fact that my teacher was, again, amazing. You guys met her today. I think you liked her as well. I absolutely love that woman. And also because my school was pretty history intensive. But I think that most Ukrainian people take pretty in-depth history lessons at school. I do know everybody does, and we do have a very different curriculum than that of the United States, as in we do take history for years and years on. I don't think everybody has like 6 hours of history a week. Yeah. And she's the reason why I love history so much, because I don't know, she was just amazing. She was awesome, and I really like her, and I think she's very engaging. And the way that she teaches history was never just like, here is a textbook, you just read. It was like, no, she had a lot of notes, and her classes were structured in her own way. And one of the things that's really cool is that, you know how this live was very specifically tailored to Crimea, and how she wrote it out and she planned it out, and it was like a specific experience. So every class with every topic was very much like that too. It was very personally tailored to that specific topic. She also always changes her notes. Like she was saying, the way she teaches history now is very different than the way that she was teaching history when I was a student, because modern kids, they don't have like the same attention span as, like, let's say we did. And she's like, it's very hard to teach them anything without pictures and stuff like that. So she was saying that now a lot of her classes are like ridiculously visual. And she was saying that if she doesn't show them pictures, they don't remember anything. And so it's it's kind of like she's very good at tailoring the experience to a particular group of people, you know? Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. But well, thank you for being you guys, and thank you for being here for 3 months and not succumbing to the news fatigue. I think I had one decent history class in my entire grade school career. See, I somehow lucked out with my history teachers, because I also took because I also took history in college, and I took world history in college, and it was very interesting because my professor was German and his name was Thomas. And I keep wanting to say his full name, and then I'm like, wait, I shouldn't. But so that's why I'm always like, and his name was Thomas, like, it doesn't matter. But so he was a German guy, and he basically, in the beginning of the class, he was like, he understands that the majority of the people who are taking this class are Americans, and so their history knowledge is probably not as in depth as like most people in Europe coming out of high school into college. And he said that with taking the first class, basically, he walked in and he was like, okay, if you're not prepared to be absolutely tortured by this class, like, I would drop it, because the way that they teach history in America is mostly America and world history, like the US in world history. And he said the way I teach history is world history because I come from Europe and I refuse to teach it as America within the world. And he was very, very informative. His classes were torture. There was so much material. It wasn't even funny, but I loved it. And he was very engaging as well. He was giving us participation grades. So like if you didn't participate, you wouldn't get a grade. It wouldn't like make it worse or better for you by any means. But if you were participating a lot, then you would get grades. And I got A's all the time. And at some point, some person, because like we had a lecture hall and it was like divided into 3 parts. And I was sitting in like the left. Well, I guess if you were the professor, then in the right wing of the class. And at some point, like there wasn't a lot of engagement because again, a lot of the students were struggling in that class. But I just love history. It's not like, oh my gosh, I was so smart, but it's like I did know a lot of these things already because I do love history. And so basically, he was having a dialogue with me very often. And so some person was like, what's the point of even coming here if all you do is have a dialogue with that one girl in the left section? And I was just like, oh, I am that person. You just called me the teacher's pet. That's awful. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And he like turned around and he was like, well, if anybody else had anything good to say, I'd be talking to someone else too. And I was just like, no, please don't do this. This is awful. You're like, you're making everybody hate me and they already hate me. Like, please don't do that. And at the end of the class, I was actually very interested in Roosevelt, and he gave me a book on Roosevelt, and I still have it. But so yes, did you know what Roosevelt means? As it means in Dutch. If you are German, please don't answer. If you are American, can you guess what Roosevelt means in Dutch? In Dutch. Anyone? If you're Dutch or German, please don't. Yeah. No. What Roosevelt means, as in like what I knew once. What the last name translates to. The question is, can you guess what Roosevelt means in Dutch? Ah, okay, so Roosevelt means world of roses. Rose is roses and Welt is world. And both in German and in Dutch, it's the same, but in German, it's spelled a little differently. It's with a W, and it doesn't have Rose, it has Rose. Yeah, Rose World. And in Dutch, it's Rose and Welt with a V. So that's a cool fact. So yeah, so that's a cool fact. Hello, hi Jennifer. Yeah, isn't it cool? So yeah, so I liked his class a lot for the reasons of him just giving us a lot of like fun facts that kind of pertain to history but kind of don't. Like, you could have lived your whole life without knowing what Roosevelt means and nothing would have changed, right? But it's fun, it's cool. It's like, oh, interesting. Okay. So let me go turn off my AC because I'm freezing and what is it? Like I'm pulling a John Aravosis on you right now. I know that he always changes temperature in his apartment, and I feel him so much. It's just that here I can at least regulate it, but in my room I can't really. It's either it is what it is or it is what it is. So I'm now like, oh wait, this is what it feels like to be able to regulate temperature because I have like central air here. So let me go turn it off because now I'm cold. City, entertain people. Are you being entertaining? Please. That's no way to treat guests. Okay, so today, 37,000 women serve in the armed forces of Ukraine. More than 1,000 have become commanders. In the photo, a soldier of the armed forces of Ukraine with an American assault rifle FN Scar L. Oh my God, this is so much better with this. Well, so fun update is tomorrow. I'm actually going to, hopefully, if B&H does not close on me again, have a camera. And YouTube lives are going to be much better quality. And I might or might not have forced John into, not Aravosis, John as an husband, into helping me film a couple of YouTube videos because I had ideas for some informative videos that were longer. But I mean, I need help. I need help editing. I need help doing all this stuff for YouTube because I feel like it's a whole different format. And I just learned how to work TikTok, as in like where my videos look like I at least know what I'm doing rather than just like standing there like this. And so I'm gonna need him to help me. But since from tomorrow on, there should be an increase in quality on YouTube, and I really hope that that will help with you guys just like, you know, liking it on YouTube, because I know that a lot of you prefer YouTube as a platform, but also my web camera quality is so trash on there that if I'm playing something on the iPad or if I'm showing something, it's just simply like you can't see what's going on. So hopefully starting tomorrow, that's going to change. And yeah, gotta use the husband for something, I know, right? And well, he's very good. That's the thing. Like, you know, I don't even want to, like, if I had a choice between hiring somebody and hiring him, I would always hire him because I just genuinely think he's very talented. And I know that he really likes doing video work. And this might not be particularly exactly what he wants to be doing with video work, but I know that some videos, like he really enjoyed filming the Woolcrafts one. And it was his idea from A to Z. And I think that it was so good because I didn't even know where to start with it because I wanted it to look like a little more professional. I wanted it to be like nice and stuff like that. And so he just came in and he was like, okay, here's what I'm thinking. And I know that he had full creativity over it, which, you know, happens not very often when you're making videos for someone because everybody has like an idea of what they want. And I just sort of was like, look, I trust you, and just give me what you have, you know, like tell me what you have. And he had like great ideas. And so in those kinds of terms is like, you know, I want to give him full freedom of creativity because I know that he enjoys doing videos. Probably something for YouTube is not going to be as creative as like filming a little ad for a blanket company. But at the same time, like I do want to bring him in for things like that because I think he's super talented and I really like his work. And B, I also know that he does enjoy filming, especially if it's just like, hey, do whatever you want, you know? The sky is the limit. This is what I need, and then the rest is up to you. So yeah, I would always choose him to do this kind of stuff over anybody. But yes, okay, so graduation of school children from Chernihiv, and the album will look like this. Well-dressed boys and girls take photos against the backdrop of the ruins that were left after the Russian invaders, and here are the photos. Oh, you gave your sister the Woolcraft. Isn't it so good? I'm so happy she liked it. Oh my God. I honestly love that blanket. My my goal slash dream is Woolcrafts has that blanket with Wayon, which is a Ukrainian illustrator slash sculptor, and it's beautiful. It's $250 because Wayon is a famous illustrator, and it's obviously much more expensive than any other blanket there. It's also limited edition. But my goal for the future is to be able to, at some point, afford that blanket, and I really want it. And it's limited, so if it's gone, it's gone. But I love it, and honestly, like, one of the things that I want to start doing more on this channel and on my YouTube, I guess, is bringing awareness. Um, is bringing awareness to more Ukrainian brands that I really like, because I find more and more brands that are such great quality and they have such cool products and they are affordable, or more affordable than they would be here. And they have really cool things and they're amazing. And also, like, I feel like, why not, talk about them? Because that way it's also helping Ukraine, because it's contributing to our GDP, it's contributing to our economy. And it's not like I'm highlighting it because it's just things from my country and I'm just like, oh yay, these are some Ukrainian brands. Like, I love it. That Woolcrafts blanket is one of the best blankets that I've had. Like, it's so soft, it's so like cozy, it's so nice to like wrap yourself into it. And also, I feel like this was such a terrible transition, because I blanked out completely, and I was showing photos of a destroyed school in Chernihiv while talking about nice blankets, and that was so tone deaf of me. But yeah, that's one of the realities of the war, where like you get so desensitized. I think that I consume so much information about the war daily that at this point, when I see things like that, I feel like, oh yeah, of course that happened, because this doesn't surprise me anymore. It's so sad and it's awful and devastating. But is it surprising? No. Hi, Kentucky. I understand that I have to live, but at the same time, like, it's crazy, because one of the reasons why informational fatigue happens is because A, people get tired, B, people get desensitized. And people get desensitized to what's happening in Ukraine because we see it all the time. And it's really upsetting, because we shouldn't get desensitized to these things. We should they should keep being surprising, and they should keep being devastating, and they should keep being what they should keep being shocking. And we've seen you understand, we've seen so much during this war that none of it shocks us anymore. How crazy is that concept? The sole concept of that is insane. Is that we've seen so much horror that we're desensitized to it. Yeah, exactly. See, but it feels normal. Like, every time I see uh more and more devastation, it's like, oh, of course. I mean, it's awful. It's horrifying. But it feels like this is just the new reality, and it's normal. It's like, Natalia, today during the live, there was an air raid siren, and everybody was like, oh my God, there is an air raid siren right outside. And she was just like, she continued smiling and talking like nothing happened. And then John was like, can we like talk about this, right? Because that's a normal response. Like, that's shocking. And she was just like, oh yeah, no, it's okay, I'm safe, we can continue. you know and someone asked if this is just, she didn't even flinch. Yeah. And it was crazy too, because I guess I talked to my mom, I talked to my dad, I talk to my grandparents and I hear air raid sirens on their side so often that also when that started happening, it was like, oh, air raid siren, but I was not like, my immediate response wasn't to be like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need to like go somewhere? It's just like, I know that this is what happens every evening. And so it's just upsetting. Um, Well, if we don't stop Putin, it's going to spread, but we need to stop him. And that's the whole point, that European leaders should stop making the same mistakes that they made in World War II, where they didn't want to join or they didn't want to like act because they were scared that it's going to spread. Like, no, it's going to spread if you don't act. The man literally said on Thursday that he wants to rebirth the Russian Empire because he feels like he's being put in the same position as Peter the First, who was invading places left and right. And he's justifying it by saying that Peter wasn't invading. In fact, he was returning Russian lands. And there's this phrase from Russia that Ukrainian people just absolutely despise. And it's "Iskonna ruskaya земля." And that basically means like Russian land. It's been Russian land all along, and it's like iskonna is this concept of like from the beginning of times it was Russian land. Like, no, it was not. And stop using that as an excuse. Like, it literally, you guys stole lands. Russia is also not a real concept. Russia is a stolen name. It's Moscovia, and Moscovia didn't have lands. You just went, stole Kievan Rus history, built yourself credibility over that, and then went and took over a ton of land. And now, for some reason, you think. I was talking about it earlier, and it's just like, I don't hate Russians. I don't even hate Russia. I feel incredibly sad for them because that's a miserable, miserable nation of miserable, miserable people. And they have not accomplished anything in their entire history that wasn't stolen, lied about, or embellished to a maximum in order to give themselves credibility. And it must be shitty to live life like that, where you have to continuously feel like you need to like you can't do anything on your own, because clearly that's how they feel. They steal Ukrainian music, they steal Ukrainian history, they steal territories from other places. It's like, it must be very, very lonely, miserable, and crappy. They haven't really accomplished things. That's the whole thing. Like, if you look at history, they haven't. Their only accomplishments are theft of territories, theft of culture, repressions of minorities, repressions of other nations, theft of language, theft of like everything, of dishes, like literally cuisine, everything, traditions. And it's crazy because it's like, again, it must be sad and lonely because these people feel the constant need to thank you so much, to steal from others in order to feel validated. And it's just kind of like sad. Yeah, but I don't, you're just proving my point. You're literally just proving my point. um, yeah, they're just kind of like, genuinely, it's like, God, really? If you were so good and so great and had such rich history, you wouldn't have to invade other lands. You could just show to the world that you're good and great and amazing and have all of these things to show for yourself without having to repress other people, infringe on other nations and their rights, and without stealing territories. You don't have to be expansive to be great, you know? But oh well. See. Okay, Russian troops took control of the Kinburn Spit in the northern part of the Black Sea. According to American experts in the study of the war, this will allow Russia to further control the Black Sea coast. Other IS Institute of the War findings. Ukraine is increasing the urgency of their requests for Western weapon systems due to Russia's superiority in artillery. Russian forces continue ground assaults in Severodonetsk, but as of June 10th, not yet established full control of the city. Russian troops are preparing to resume offensive operations towards Slavyansk and have made little progress north of the city. Russian forces continue their attempts to cut the Bakhmut-Lysychansk highway and storm settlements near the highway. Грусть вообще-то, да, I agree with you, Boriska. It is very sad, but sad on behalf of you and Russians and Russia that you can't admit to the fact that you literally haven't accomplished a single thing without having to invade other people and without having to repress other people, without genocides and without literal destructions of minorities. And it's one of those things where, like, it is very sad. And it's not going to get any less sad until you guys bear the responsibility for it, at least in your mind, to yourself. You admit to what you have done. You admit to the fact that your history is a lie. And you just start anew from building new history and showing the world what you can be and what you are. Because at the end of the day, if all of this has been a lie and a theft and stuff like that, and you continue going with it being like, no, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true, you're never going to change. And the thing is, like, it doesn't matter, like, it's fine. You don't need the history. You can build the tomorrow. You can build the future. You know what I'm saying? And that will show the world who you are as people, rather than clinging on to, like, former greatness of Russian Empire, who really wasn't necessarily a great empire. It was an empire built on lies. And Russia is not really Russia. It's Moscovia. Like, the name was stolen from Kievan Rus, which is modern day Ukraine. And so that's the whole thing. Like, you can't grow without admitting your wrongs and your mistakes. And when you do that, you can grow from there. And then we can see new Russia, and we can see new people, and we can see what you guys can be. It's as simple as that. Denmark supports Ukraine's European aspirations, but the decision on recognizing Ukraine as a candidate for the EU will be made after receiving the conclusion of the European Commission, Danish Foreign Ministry. But Denmark said that they fully support Ukraine's European aspirations. That is why Denmark also supported the early initiation of the process necessary to process their request. We are now awaiting the conclusion of the European Commission on how far Ukraine meets the criteria necessary to continue the process, said Danish Foreign Minister Jeppe Kofod. War crime. This is how the UN reacted to the death sentence for the British in the so-called Republic of DPR. According to the High Command of Ukraine, all men were part of the armed forces of Ukraine, and if so, then they should not be considered mercenaries. They were, and they're not mercenaries. Such trials against prisoners of war are a crime, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights said. See, my problem with the UN is that they say so many things, and they do so little. Their words mean nothing. They're pretty much useless. They have been horrifyingly useless in this entire war. Russians hit Vrubivka with a flamethrower system, entered Orikhovo, stormed Severodonetsk, destroyed infrastructure. Head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, Serhiy Haidai. Information about the number of victims in Vrubivka in the Popasna community is being specified. At night, the enemy used a flamethrower rocket system. Many houses burned out. Yesterday, during another shelling of Severodonetsk, the Azot railway depot was damaged. Prior to that, there were several industrial workshops where registered hits in the building of the brick and research factories. In Lysychansk, enemy shells hit the territory of the glass factory. The shelling damaged the school and the culinary lyceum. Many buildings have been partially or completely destroyed. The offensive of the Russian continues in the direction of Novotoshkivske, Orikhovo. The enemy is fixed on the northern outskirts of the settlements of Orikhovo, continues to conduct assault operations in Severodonetsk. Also, James, no, it's Severodonetsk. Also, James, you weren't here, but so, fun fact. So, 5 keychains have been sent out from Ukraine. 2 of them haven't reached the US yet, and it's one for John and one for you, but 2 other ones have made it to Yum because Yum was the recipient of one and he received 3. So I finally got, so Yum sent me 2 back and they finally arrived and I'm going to ship them out tomorrow. But this is what the keychains look like. And they're really cool. And one of the coolest things is they have a serial number. And they have a serial number and they're like pretty thick, which is really cool. I thought that they would be thinner. Yeah, they look so cool. So fun. Huh. Still hoping I get yellow. Yeah, I don't know which one it is. I don't know which one. These 2, I wonder, Yum, did you get a yellow one or a blue one? Were all 3 of them blue or was there a yellow one? I'm very curious. Because I'm curious if it was just like parties of them, you know? So today, so yeah. So today, something leaked out from the President Biden's private fundraiser, where he said that Zelensky ignored his warnings about Russia's impeding attack on Ukraine. And so I know a lot of people thought I might be exaggerating, but I knew, and we had evidence to confirm that he was going to cross the border. There was no doubt. And Zelensky did not want to hear this, like many others. The publication quotes Joe Biden. The US president also accused Putin of trying to destroy the culture, not just the nation, of Ukraine, and said the Russian leader considers the capital, Kyiv, the residence of Mother Russia. He is right on that one. And I don't know, I mean, that's true. He's trying to kill the culture, not just the people, and it's a genocide. There we go. And Biden is right on that. He does think that Kyiv is, well, there used to be this saying that Kyiv is the mother of the Ruthenian cities. So, like, Kyiv, mать городов русских. And but that doesn't mean Russian cities. That meant Rusian cities, like Ruthenian, like Kiev and Rus. I'm not your love, and I don't know who you are, and you should not be referring to me in a pet word because I'm not an object. I'm a human, and I'm a woman that you don't know. I've seen your desperate attempts to say that 5 times. Please stop. It's disgusting, it's rude, and it's disrespectful. And if I've ignored those attempts so many times, it should give you a clue as to maybe not continue that. Would you come up to a random person on the street and say the same thing? I don't think so. People online tend to behave much more disgusting than they would in person. I'm not your love. I don't know you. The only person who can call me that is not here right now. Unless we're literally friends and I've said to you that it's okay, do not ever call a person you don't know with pet words and pet names. And you are doing that because I'm a woman. You wouldn't do that to a guy. Stop it. And stop objectifying me. It's disgusting. Anyways, so I think that Biden is right on, well, he's right on Putin. I don't know about Zelensky. I don't think it would be as, I don't think that it's just that black and white. I also think that it was kind of like a stupid thing to say because he, like, no matter whether it's a private fundraiser or not, everybody's going to listen to him and somebody's going to leak that information, especially if it's something as surprising as this. And this is not the time to really say that because now the world is like, oh, did Zelensky know? Did he not know? The world starts questioning it. But the thing is, like, we don't need to be questioning Zelensky right now about what he might have known or might not have known. We should be helping Ukraine get out of this terrible situation that Russia puts us in. Yeah, exactly. Context matters and stuff like that, but it's just sort of like, y- you know, you can't just say that because it's really bringing more trouble than good. And really, what's the point right now to figure out whether Zelensky knew or whether Zelensky didn't know or whether Zelensky, whatever, like, clearly he's trained our army for 3 years to be what they are today. And clearly he has had some understanding to some capacity that this could happen, and he has been working on it. Also, Ukraine has been asking for protection for a very long time, so it's kind of like easy to sit here with NATO support as a president of the US and kind of say things like, oh, he didn't want to listen to me. It's like, well, you didn't want to listen to him, right? Because had you listened to him, you would have been giving him more weapons, right? But in the first couple of days of war, you didn't really want to give him weapons. So I really don't see what your point is. Thank you so much. So yeah, so it's kind of like, please don't judge from your high horse and please don't start steering trouble because at the same time, because at the end of the day, it's like, well, if you knew it so well, why didn't you start sending weapons to Ukraine when you knew, right? Because you knew. And Zelensky didn't want to listen to you. What an idiot, right? Why didn't you just like sit him down and was like, look, this is the intel, this is what's happening, here are our supplies. You're gonna have to battle Russia, but you didn't want to give him supplies and you didn't want to help because you thought that Ukraine was gonna be invaded anyway. So no one's perfect. Let's put it that way. Okay. So total losses of the Russian army as of today is 32,050 of personnel. So I saw that on Mila's live, people were asking how many soldiers have been liquidated from the Ukrainian army to date. So since February 24th, it's been 10,000 soldiers that died on the front lines for Ukraine. Since 2014, it's been 17,000 soldiers that have died on the front lines in Ukraine. So in 8 years of war, it was 7,000 soldiers, and in 3 months of war, it was 10,000 soldiers. Now, Russian soldiers are 32,050, and Russian soldiers, up until recently, have been dying at a faster rate than Ukrainian soldiers, but now that Ukrainian soldiers are outnumbered as hell and are having, and really, really need the Lend-Lease weapons to be delivered, they're suffering losses. They are inflicting losses onto Russians as well, heavy losses, but just not as efficiently as before because, well, first of all, it's also a different stage of war. I don't think that double marriages are legal in Ukraine, but that's funny. Someone said, "Can I marry Zelensky if he needs a second wife?" And it's like, I don't think it works that way. Even if Ukraine were a member of NATO, war could not be avoided, said Zelensky. If Ukraine were in NATO, I'm sure there would still be a battle for the independence of Ukraine. But it would be different. It seems like that to me. There would not have been so many losses. There could have been some kind of small military conflict or provocations from Russia, their disagreement, etc. But I believe we would save a large number of people. The president of Ukraine said, talking to students and teachers in the UK. And I agree. Because Russia would not be trying to fight a NATO country because they know that they can't win that. Russia uses missiles of 1960s era designed to destroy aircraft carriers with a nuclear warhead. Since April, Russian bombers have fired dozens of heavy 5.5-ton anti-ship air-launched missiles Kh-22 of 1960s era at ground targets. When used as an attack aircraft with a conventional warhead, they're very inaccurate and therefore can cause significant damage and cause casualties among the population. Russia likely lacks more accurate modern missiles, while Ukraine's air defense system still keeps its tactical aircraft from striking much of the country. Also, British intelligence noted that Russian troops were unable to advance to the south of Severodonetsk. There are street fights, both sides suffer heavy losses. Also, I wanted to point out today that one of the lovely news that I have received that I saw is that Russia had launched a $5 million missile onto a toilet. They destroyed a porta potty. No, I mean it, like genuinely. As in, they used a high precision missile that's worth $5 million, and they have destroyed a single unit of a porta potty with it. which I mean really speaks a lot, volumes about Russia and about their abilities and about their capacity, like war capacity and how freaking stupid they are. But yes, so Russians launched a $5 million high precision missile, and they destroyed a porta potty with it. Nobody understands how or why. Nobody knows what happened there. Nobody knows if the high precision missile was just not as high precision as it was as it was advertised, uh, or um, or maybe Russians are just being like, if we can't have toilets, no one can have toilets, because maybe they just thought that toilets are dangerous. After all, they have never seen one, and even a porta potty, because in Russia most toilets are literally outdoors. So yeah, maybe they thought that it was something out of ordinary, and maybe they thought that it was something dangerous, because again, I mean, if you have never seen a toilet, and then you see a toilet, it could be scary for the first time, it could be very scary, you know. So yeah, that's a piece of news that made me laugh uh, out loud. I think it is hilarious, and I can't believe that's reality. Updated map of the situation in the east of Ukraine from European war experts. In their opinion, the invaders seized two settlements, Mityolkina and Voronova, on the outskirts of Severodonetsk. Also, the Russian army now controls the Kinburn Spit southwest of Kherson. The Ukrainian side has not yet commented. Thank you, Ghost. Has not yet commented on this data. Also, someone requested earlier. I think it was not a botter. Did you guys would you guys want a video on how to pronounce certain Ukrainian cities that seem to be like hard for everybody to pronounce? Because I know that a lot of people have difficulty pronouncing, like Kherson, I know is a difficult one. Zaporizhia is a difficult one. Which cities do you consider difficult? I know that you said all of them. I know that you said all of them, but I'm like, okay, but which one? Thank you so much. But which ones do you think are like key cities that everybody is very confused about? Outhouses are houses, okay, that has a roof. Most of the Russian toilets actually are not even outhouses. They're literally just a hole in the. So, okay, most of Russian toilets literally look like this. It's trenches, and then there is a piece of wood on top of it, and then you just squat in between. I mean, you get the picture. How to say or spell some of the cities. The name of the Ukraine. I have trouble pronouncing. Oh my gosh, yeah, that one's very difficult, but it's Ukr Zaliznytsia. Um, Lysychansk, currently on a hill to west of Severo. Lysychansk, okay. Lysychansk, Ukrzaliznytsia. No, Ukrzaliznytsia is a lot. It's like Ukrzaliznytsia. Sometimes Ukrainian people are like, it's Ukrzaliznytsia. Ukrzaliznytsia. Oh, you know what? Okay. Oh my gosh. You know how the Kardashians say like the okr thing, whatever. So it's Ukrzaliznytsia. Just reminded me. So Russia changed the Mariupol city sign. Yes, they want to call it something like Grad, something Grad, because they're obsessed with Petrograd, Stalingrad, like Novograd. Like there is no creativity there at all. It's okay. We're gonna take Mariupol back. But okay, so Lysychansk, Severodonetsk. Which other cities do we have? Yeah, a grad. Of course, it's going to be a grad. There you go. Rolling R's. R, right? So R. Okay, look. So if I say R, rolling, rolling. So r, like your tongue goes, like it moves up and down. It's like r, rolling, rolling, rolling. See, instead of rolling, 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 you would do rolling, rolling, rolling. It's different. So R, 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 R. See? What is the word? Oh, well, I'm not sure, to be honest. It depends on the. I would say Slava Ukraini. Honestly, Slava Ukraini or Все буде Україна. I would say, if it's like a universal thing that you want to say to refugees, Все буде Україна. Boom, boom, boom. Grr, yeah. Zelensky published a new batch of photos for the 108th day of the war. It's war for values. When we win this war, all Europeans will be able to continue to enjoy any freedom in Ukraine and Europe. Um, and when it prevails, then there will be a dark time for everyone in the. Sorry, what? Oh, if one person who wants to destroy any freedom in Ukraine and Europe prevails, then there will be a dark time for everyone on the continent. Bim, bidim, bidim, yeah. Okay, so these are the photos that Zelensky published today. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Those are my favorite ones. Sorry. Slava Ukrainian sounds like Slava Nazi. Means glory to the nation. Nazi. Slava Nazi. Yeah, I really hope that Mariupol will be. And also to someone who sent the hot air balloons. It's thank you. It's genuinely my favorite. I think it's my favorite gift that they have on TikTok. Although I've been seeing, well, not in my lives, but I've been seeing in general that there have been some new like gifty things that they have added. Hi Luann, good to see you. That they have added some new like gift things, and someone's having a party. But I saw that they have added some new things that are like kind of cool and fun. They do that monthly. I think they do a rotation. There is the dino that looks like this beast that I got yesterday. That was very Sinew-like. Just tell them to use Telegram. It's a lot more reliable than waiting for someone on TikTok to do it. Also, a lot of misinformation here in TikTok. Yeah, there is a Telegram. Thank you. There is a Telegram in my link in bio. Thank you so much, Sid. Yes, yes. Well, I do. Yes, there is a Telegram channel that I use that's English in my link in bio, and if you guys want to, you can watch the news through there. And the pictures, you can find them on Zelensky's Instagram as well. He posts those pictures. He posts those pictures on his Instagram, and these are Zaporizhia. Okay, I'll tell you how to say it. But so Zelensky publishes them daily, and they're available on his Instagram, and they're by lots of different photographers, and you can look it up because he usually tags the photographers. But Zaporizhia, so like garage, but if you were to say garage, like to like if garage had two G's and you had to pronounce both of them. So it'd be like garage, right? So it's Zaporizhia. Zaporizhia. There is they won't find out if they were accepted for a while, but they will. But the status of candidate is going to be decided, I think, on the 20th or something like that. It's going to be at the next summit. The head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, arrived in Kyiv. The first deliveries of weapons from Germany are expected on June 22nd. Then in July and August, Ukrainian ambassador to Germany, Andriy Melnik. 7 Panzerhaubitze 2000 self-propelled howitzers will be handed over to us. We will receive these systems around June 22nd, Melnik said. Oh. Later, the delivery of Jeopard. Sorry. One sec. Hi. Sorry, I was doing. I'm doing the news. I'm almost done, but I didn't hear because no one was home. Okay. So basically, yeah. So we're getting some more weapons from Germany. The office of the president of Ukraine reacted to Biden's words that Zelensky did not want to hear about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Presidential Speaker Sergei Nikiforov recalled that during that period, Zelensky had 3 or 4 telephone conversations with Biden, during which they exchanged thoughts on the situation around Ukraine. Therefore, the phrase "did not want to hear" probably needs clarification. In addition, if you remember, the president of Ukraine called on partners to introduce a package of preventative sanctions in order to encourage Russia to withdraw its troops and de-escalate the situation. And here we can already say that our partners did not want to hear us, Zelensky's speaker added. Which makes sense because like there had to be, two sides to the story for sure. During Zelensky's speech at the Asia Security Summit Shangri-La Dialogue, the Chinese delegation left the hall. Olivia Enos, a senior political analyst at the Center for Asian Studies, reported. Meanwhile, Zelensky in his speech mentioned the possibility of famine in Asia and Africa due to the war in Ukraine, which would lead to overthrow of a number of governments. I'm grateful to you for your support of Ukraine. I'm grateful to you for your attention to Ukraine, but remember that this is support and attention not only for Ukraine, but also to yourself. To make your future secure, it is on the battlefield in Ukraine that it is decided what rules the world will live by and what will be possible and what will be impossible. Let's save the world from going back to the days when everything was decided on the basis of the so-called right of force, and individuals and any of their ideas, like many nations, simply did not matter. Updated, the news about Chinese delegation turned out to be fake. Chronicles of the occupied Mariupol. Scheduled showers, queues for humanitarian aid, and removal of bodies along with construction debris. Near the metro is basically like Costco, the invaders set up tents where you can take a hot shower in the peak of hot season. Also, people line up for humanitarian aid. In addition, according to the advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, Petro Andrushenko, after the decision of the invaders to demolish houses, the entrance of residents to apartments, even in the surviving part of the house, is limited due to danger. Personal belongings are not allowed to be taken out. The dead continue to be removed along with construction debris. Locals report that doctors are on duty near the ruins as Russian soldiers have dizziness and acute reaction of the stomach to the finds that they see under the rubble. So this is what Metro. This says Help Center of United Russia. Insanity. Russian army shelled residential areas of Sumy, Kharkiv, Mykolaiv regions this night. More than 779 children suffered as a result of the armed aggression of the Russian Federation in Ukraine. 287 children died. More than 492 were wounded. During the recording of criminal offenses, it became known about the death of 24 more children in Mariupol as a result of indiscriminate shelling by the Russian military. It also became known about the injuries of 17-year-old girl on April 9th as a result of shelling by the occupiers of the village Raihorodok, Donetsk region. And this Davidov helps on YouTube. He's Ukrainian and has maps and pronounces city names well. I went looking when Malcontent got sick, and CP 13 had too many irons in the fire to give good maps. I see. Oh, thank you. That's good. That's a good pointer. Our task is to take the wounded alive to the doctor. Ukrainian paramedics talk about their work in war zones. According to them, the Russian invaders purposefully destroy hospitals in Ukraine and critical infrastructure facilities. They also kill doctors so that they do not provide assistance to the population. The Russian invaders no longer hide their real face, the paramedics added. As in, like, they no longer try to pretend. This is how the cemetery in Mariupol looks like. Wooden plaques, names, lots of graves. French journalists counted about 3,000 graves in just one sector. Off the coast of Odessa, a mine detonated in the sea. According to the speaker of the head of the Odessa military administration, Serhiy Bratchuk, the mine most likely was torn off the anchor, and it detonated 20 meters from the coast after a collision with an unknown object. Volodymyr Zelensky and Ursula von der Leyen. It's an apple. Volodymyr Zelensky and Ursula von der Leyen made statements following the meeting in Kyiv. The European project certainly cannot be completed without Ukraine, and this is absolutely obvious right now when the Ukrainian people are defending the future for themselves and for all peoples of the West, the East, the North, and the South of Europe. I thank the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, for meaningful negotiations. Your leadership, your attention is very valuable to us. I believe that in the near future, we will communicate with you at a new level of our relations, Ukraine and the EU, Zelensky said. The armed forces of Ukraine went on a counteroffensive in the Kherson region in the direction of Kiselivka, Soldatske, and Oleksandrivka. It is reported by the Kherson City Council. Yeah. It is also reported that the village of Tavrichiske is completely under control of Ukraine, which is great news. Tavriske, I don't know why they... Tavriske. It's so strange because the news source sometimes. So this is the village of Tavriske, and it's completely under control of Ukraine now, which is on the outskirts of Mykolaiv and coming closer to Kherson. Ukrainian partisans helped AFU destroy Russian bases in Kherson region, killing 2 Russian generals. The publication referring to a high-ranking Ukrainian official notes that this week partisan scouts sent artillery strikes on 2 Russian bases in the occupied Kherson region. As a result, dozens of enemy soldiers were unalived, including 2 generals. Note that the death of 2 generals and the attack on the bases of invaders in the Kherson region was reported yesterday by the advisor to the head of the OP, Oleksiy Arastovich. The Mykolaiv paratroopers knocked out 2 infantry fighting vehicles, after which the ammunition detonated. The head of the Odessa Regional Military Administration commented on the fake from the Russian Ministry of Defense that he and the special services were allegedly going to infect Odessa with the plague. The only plague in our country is Russian soldiers, of whom there are already a few left, Marchenko stressed. In Melitopol and Kherson, the invaders' authorities began issuing Russian passports. In Kherson, 23 collaborators received Russian citizenship, including the so-called head of the military civilian administration of the Kherson region, Vladimir Saldo. About 30 people received Russian passports in Melitopol. Numbers that speak for themselves. The population of many thousands in these cities does not want to have anything to do with the invaders. Moreover, want citizenship. Kherson and Melitopol are Ukrainian cities. The Russian Federation did not abandon the plan for the complete capture of Ukraine. The Ukrainian military thwarted the Russian blitzkrieg plan to capture Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa, so the enemy concentrated its main efforts in the east. However, the Russian Federation did not abandon plans for the complete seizure of Ukraine. This was stated by the representative of the main directorate of the intelligence of the Ministry of Defense, Vadim Skibitsky. We have confirmed information that the Russians have a plan for 120 days of war. Further adjustment of this plan will depend on how successful the enemy is, or on the contrary, will be defeated in the east of Ukraine. However, the goal of the so-called special military operation, which Putin announced at the beginning of the war, was not achieved by the Russians, Skibitsky said. The Russian media publishes footage from the Russian countryside with overcrowded cemeteries and fresh graves of fallen Russian soldiers. No casualties, they said. Yeah. Military expert Oleg Zhdanov suggests that the active phase of hostilities may continue in 2023. Such an option cannot be ruled out. The military campaign in early winter and spring can shift to a positioning character, and in winter, when the ground is frozen, there are no problems with conducting a military campaign. There are difficulties in terms of low temperatures and snow cover, but in any case, the winter campaign can continue, he said. According to Zhdanov, it will be possible to orient in terms of the end of active fighting in a couple of weeks, when the first shipment of weapons under the Lend-Lease will arrive in Ukraine. So yeah, it all depends on how the weapons from the Lend-Lease are going to are going to affect the war and the basically our abilities. Video of the explosion. While swimming in the sea near a village in the Odessa region, a 50-year-old head of the family was unalived by an unknown object in front of his wife, son, and companion. The latter was miraculously unharmed because he went swimming with the victim. The deceased was from the Donetsk region. Russians don't revolt because most of them support it. That's the thing, to everyone who is like, there are so many people who are saying like Russians are not revolting because it's a dictatorship and it's hard to revolt. Like, no, they're not revolting because there are not enough of them who want to revolt. One, two, like I saw this stupid freaking thing the other day online, and it was like Russians abroad. It was a campaign. I'm sorry, you know what? I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show you this useless piece of garbage. It's a campaign for Russians around the world to unite and protest. So people abroad who are Russian, who are going to protest, okay? Which is going to accomplish nothing because they're not in Russia. But, let me show you. A follower of mine sent it to me, and I just thought it was the dumbest thing ever. I'm sorry. Genuine, not that the follower sent it to me. Like, thank you very much to her for doing that. I'm happy that she did. I'm just saying that this entire event. Да, только люди видят на телевидении и знают, что и видели Мариуполь, и сделали в Мариуполе туристический центр из драмтеатра. Люди в России не видят. Люди в России к украинцам всегда относились как к каким-то объектам, которые им прилежны. Люди в России не видят войну, поэтому ее нет. Люди в России понимают, что война идет, просто люди в России никогда не будут рисковать своей жизнью, чтобы снять своего диктатора, потому что вам это не нужно. Это легче смотреть на то, как умирают украинцы, чтобы вас это не касалось. Anyways, I can't, for some reason it isn't loading, but point is that basically Russians around the world are saying, let's unite and make this huge round the world event where we come out in the streets of cities where we live, not in Russia, around the world, and we protest against the war in Ukraine. And they're all wearing these like t-shirts with the, you know, Free Russia, like the blue and white and blue, or like white and blue and white, right? And it says like, Нет войне в Украине, so no to war in Ukraine. So basically, yeah, so there's that. And to me, it's, I mean, like, it's a nice gesture, but the thing is, like, what is that going to do? What is that going to do? It's going to show that there are Russians against the war. Why don't you go back to Russia and try to revolt there? Because if it's a million people event, if there are millions of you who want to protest, then why don't millions of these people go back, cross the border to Russia, and protest inside there? Because that would actually do something if there are actually millions of you and you want to make an event. Because you protesting in Australia, in New Zealand, in Berlin, anywhere, is not going to do shit. Like, pardon me, but it's not going to do shit. That's literally just going to show that you are such good Russians. Exactly, they can all go back to Russia together and they can do a huge protest. But again, nobody wants to get stuck in Russia. It's not worth it, right? Because they have a good life abroad. They don't want to come back to Russia. Why? A powerful explosion occurred in Avdiivka, Donetsk region. A huge mushroom can be seen near the chemical plant. Ukraine to receive state-of-the-art IRIS-T air defense systems from Germany. The latest German IRIS-T air defense system, capable of protecting an area the size of Kyiv, will arrive in Ukraine in October. This system is the coolest in the world. It can be compared to the American Patriot, said Andriy Melnik, the Ukrainian ambassador to Germany. According to Melnik, the first money from the 1 billion euros budgeted by the German Defense Ministry for assistance to Ukraine will be spent precisely on the IRIS-T missile system. The first video is an urban battle in Luhansk region from the Ukrainian side. The second video was shot during the shelling of the Donetsk region. Cine. MLRS systems, tanks, aircrafts. Our military needs as much money as possible, so if you are able to donate through United 24, the platform that Zelensky has created for donations. Ukrainian military sent to Germany for treatment. For the ninth time today, German Luftwaffe A310 aircraft flew to Poland to take the wounded and sick from Ukraine to Germany for treatment. According to Luftwaffe, so far they have transported 250 people safely. Družkivka, Kramatorsk, and Slavyansk were considered safe cities some time ago. Sing, baby, come on, chill out, thank you, hello, lay down, thank you. Družkivka, Kramatorsk, and Slavyansk were considered safe cities some time ago. Today, they are ghost towns. Empty streets, artillery fire instead of people's voices, permanent shelling with great destruction, evacuation buses to Dnipro. And do you remember how Russia hoped to capture the entire Donbass in early May? It is already the 108th day of the war. It is already June. Donbass is holding on. The losses suffered by the invaders, including in this area, are extremely significant. In total, the Russian army today has about 32,000 dead souls. For what? What did it give you, Russia? No one can say how long this burning of souls by Russia will last, but we must do everything to make the invaders regret that they have done all of this, and to hold them accountable for every murder and every strike at our beautiful state. The Russian Federation has violated the Budapest Memorandum, and therefore the West has the right to give Ukraine nuclear warheads to protect its independence, said Radoslav Sikorsky, a member of the European Parliament. Yeah, I agree, except I don't know if we want nuclear warheads, to be fair. Like, it's not our point. It's not something we're trying to accomplish or trying to get at all. Let me see something, because my dad always sends me. Where is it? Yeah, took them a very long time, right? Because this is not news. The Budapest Memorandum violation is not news. But you know, it is what it is. So that was the last piece of news for today. And what was I going to say? Sorry, I just realized this is a very cute. Can of like little treats. Oh, so for I was asked about this earlier. Thank you, Sid. So this is what it's called Fin, and I had DMs about this. Like actually, a couple of people DM'd me. Yeah, Cindy's tummy is better. She threw it today. But yeah, so it's anti-allergy and itch, and it usually helps. It's a very good supplement, and it's kind of like you just give it to your dog with meals, but Cindy eats it without meals too. And it was recommended to me by the veterinarian, and it's 90 soft chews, and it helps like inflammation, immune health, allergy, digestive health. And today that she threw up, it's probably going to be very good for her digestive system as well. And the reason why I'm showing it, and thank you again, James, thank you for grabbing that off of the wish list. And thank you, genuinely, thank you so much. But I had a couple of people ask me which ones were those, and so this is them. So if you are one of the couple of people, these are them. And they also have like skin and bones. Yeah, they have skin and bones ones. They have like a coat. They have hip and joint. Actually, hip and joint is good for Frenchies. If you have a Frenchie, then like hip and joint supplements in general are really good. I love Bocce's Bakery. It's Cindy's favorite treats, and they have these like hip and joint treats. Will it stop my dog eating dirty mud? I don't know. Wait, if your dog is eating dirt and mud, that means that they're lacking nutrients. So they need like probiotics and stuff like that. They need like nutrients, basically like vitamins, like a multivitamin complex, because dogs usually eat mud and dirt and soil if they lack vitamins. Right, Gremlin Bunchkin? But yeah, I really like the graphic design on this. It's really pretty. And it's also blue and yellow. I just realized, well, it's like purple. It's purple blue, but still, almost blue and yellow. But yeah, thank you so very much. I'm gonna pick up the camera tomorrow, as I said earlier, thanks to Yum, our channel now. Thanks to Yum, our channel now will have a camera. I was supposed to be here yesterday, but B&H is a very very crappy customer service. Anyways, but I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow, and we're gonna have a camera for YouTube, and our picture quality is probably gonna be amazing. Oh, wait 1 second. I need to pick up this phone call. 1 second. Hello? Hello. I am home. Are you with Huskies? Yeah, let me come downstairs. I'll bring Cindy. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye. Okay, I have to cut this short because YouTube is working. I was getting a phone call, but yeah, I know the camera was still on. I was just getting a phone call, so I have to cut this short because John is babysitting Huskies for the weekend from his friend, and he brought them downstairs, and I'm gonna bring Cindy and go see the Huskies. And we're gonna go for a family walk. So I'll see you guys later. I'll try to record a little bit of the Huskies, and I'll show them to you. It was so good to talk to you, and I will see you soon, but I need to run downstairs because there are Huskies there. Okay, Cindy, I love you, but we're gonna go see the Huskies. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, bye, bye. Ooh.